Alright. Says live for uptime. Oh, Streamlabs started. That must mean it's working. Now live, streaming garden guide, surprise birthday stream. Starting the next batch of seeds. Okay. This should be working. Let's see. The lighting's a little bit off because that's super bright up there. Can't really do anything to stop that. Does this make it better or worse? Oh, that's worse. This one, is that better? What do we got? Daler, happy birthday, buddy. Mine is in 12 days. Well, happy birthday to you. All right, so I guess I'll just go ahead and get started. First thing I'm going to do is all of these seeds over here to the right. They've been growing for about 3 weeks. Well, at least the ones that succeeded. Anything that didn't sprout, I just replanted with something else or the same thing, a new set of seeds. So all the ones that have leaves, where they sprouted and they started sprouting leaves, I'm going to transfer over to the secondary station. And I have a whole set of trays over there on the left. I'm going to start planting my next round of seeds. The next round of seeds, I'm going to start with sunflowers. These should be really fancy, like reddish, orangish sunflowers. They're called Velvet Queen Sunflower. They're actually my roommates, and I'm starting them for him, and I'm not sure where we're going to put them all, but we're going to start doing sunflowers. I've also got leeks, onions, spaghetti squash, and zucchini, also known as summer squash. So one thing that I've done differently than my first go round is instead of buying a small bag of starter, well actually I do have a small bag of starter. A small bag of starter right here. But what I have for the primary dirt for my containers is I got a huge what size is this? 3 cubic foot bag of not core, the other one, peat moss. Peat moss absorbs an insane amount of water. So when you just put dry peat into a container and add water, at first it doesn't mix very well, and then it kind of just makes a mess, and it's a little bit of a pain in the ass. So you can see right here, I have a 5-gallon bucket. There are 3 gallons of water in this bucket, and it's just saturated peat so that I can fill them without having to water them separately. That should save a lot of time and a lot of mess. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do, we're going to go through the seeds that have already started and see which ones are ready for transport to the secondary seed area. Okay, first, these are tomatoes. And as you can see, the tomatoes, I think you can see the tomatoes. Can you see them? Yeah, kind of. Let me bring them up a little bit. The tomatoes already look pretty good. They're already started well. The tomatoes have actually done the best out of all of the things that I've started. So we can go ahead and move these. These ones have taken off even more. How big these ones have got. At least the ones in the front. The ones in the back haven't sprouted yet, but I'll worry about those later. Also in the back, we have some hot peppers. You see? Peppers have started coming up. Move these trays over a little bit. This is our space. Move this notebook. So the ones, the red tray and green cup, those ones did not successfully start. So I added different seeds to those. I'm gonna start marigolds in them. Speaking of marigolds, these ones here, all very successful. Another set of flowers that didn't take off very well. Set those back here. They'll need to stay. These peppers, they're doing pretty good. There. Oop. So one of the things I haven't really shown, because I did this off camera, I don't know if you can see them. Nah, not really. Not with this lighting. Maybe if I put them out here, can you see them from there? Not really. So this one, you can see there's a small one, or maybe you can see, again, the lighting's not great. There's a big one and a small one. I'm gonna take that small one. Oop. Lighting's not good for me either. I'm just gonna pull that right up. I just uprooted it. The best thing you can do to ensure that one seedling grows the best it can is to kill off all the smaller ones. So this is literally strong survive type of situation. You don't want more than one seedling per cup. You start with 3 seeds and you just take whichever one does the best. We've also got 2 of our eggplants have done really well from this tray. And 2 did not do so well. So they're gonna have to stay back. Another seedling murder. Alright, and these 2 in this tray, well, I'll figure those out in a little bit. I'm just going to set these aside somewhere else while I'm working on my next set of seeds. Alright, so those are just out of the way. These 2 guys, you know what, I'll keep them with that other tray. Worry about them later. Okay, so go ahead and put my gloves on because I get very grouchy when my hands are dirty. Because I'm a grouchy gamer, I'm also a grouchy gardener. All right. Now, over the years, I've collected a whole bunch of traditional gardening containers. So even though I really like the color-coded solo cups, no sense in not using the containers that I already have. So that's what we're gonna do. You know what, I'm gonna try bringing this down a little bit. There we go, that's better. We don't need to see all the stuff over there anyway. What we really care about seeing is what's going on over here. So I'm gonna take a bunch of this slop that I've pre-mixed and slurp it right in there. It's going to be a much easier process than the first time. So I'm going to do a base of this stuff, and then I'm going to put a little bit of the fertilized potting mix just to give it a little bit more just so after they develop from seedlings, they'll have a little bit to help them grow to their next phase. So this stuff is great for the bottom because it retains a lot of water. Now that I have the base in there, I'll put a little bit of the regular seed starting mix in it. Well, I don't need this big ass ladle thing. I can just use my hand. Okay. Now, this is not like my normal packages of seeds, so I don't know exactly. Direct sow after frost. Depths. All right. Well, we're gonna see how these goes. It does say to direct sow them, but we don't have that long of a growing season. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start a bunch. How many does it say? Direct sow, ash frost. says after, don't put them out till after first frost. Which is fine, because I'm not going to. What is it, something about I don't know. We've actually got enough containers here. We're actually going to try to grow a whole bunch of these. And maybe we'll have a whole row of sunflowers. And if it works out, I'll have to share photos when that happens. Did I put two in there? No, I don't think so. Alright. So we're just going to cover those up. And then we're going to water them in just a little bit because they've already got water. They're already very, very moist. Of course, these containers have holes in the bottom, which doesn't just allow proper drainage, which is important if it's overwatered. It also allows water to seep in from the bottom. And that is actually the preferable way to water seedlings, is to fill the tray with water. And the roots will actually absorb the water through the bottom. So this one here is all set. Looks like this tray may have a leak in it. That's bad. Uh-oh. That's gonna be a problem. We will just put that tray inside of this tray and deal with it. There we go. Now we've got, I'm just gonna have to fight with that. That's fine. Okay. Now we have a small mess. Move the trash can here. And just move the water out of the way. It's not a proper gardening stream if you don't make a mess. Alright, that's the first batch of sunflowers. see. Oh, Perf Villain. Gardening? My blueberries are growing and my apple tree has little apples forming. Awesome. Yeah, we had a pretty late winter this year, here in central Maine. We had like 6 inches of snow just a couple weeks ago, actually. Very like the end of March. We are just now starting to get blossoms on the trees, and like crocuses have just started coming up. They usually come up a little bit sooner than this. Turns out today is actually a beautiful day, which we haven't had a lot of nice days. Yesterday was pretty nice, but it was also a little chilly. It was a little windy yesterday. But I did a lot of landscaping outside yesterday because I ordered some trees from the Arbor Day Foundation, and I wasn't expecting them to show up until May, and they showed up this week. And baby trees kind of need to be planted right away. I have a pretty small yard and not a lot of room for trees, so I ended up giving the majority of them away to friends. So hopefully they're getting them planted this weekend. But I did plant a dogwood tree and a lilac. So with any luck, in like, I don't know, 5 years, we'll start seeing some legitimate progress on those trees. I probably shouldn't have my open soda right next to where I'm throwing dirt around. Go ahead and move that off to the side. Alright. Next batch of seeds. Make little holes for the seeds to go in. So I think the best opportunity for good results is I will do a bunch of seeds for the sunflowers. I'm going to do a bunch of seeds, pre-starting them now. We're about 4 to 5 weeks out of our last frost date, which is usually mid to late May. Usually. And then whatever we have left, we will do direct sow, the way they suggest. And we'll see which ones work better. This is a 100 pack, so we should be all set. Okay. Cover those up, cover those up, cover those up. And then water them in. So this starter mix definitely also has peat moss. At first, the peat is resilient to mix with water, but once it starts absorbing, it absorbs a lot of water. That's why peat is so great for a seed starting mix, because it keeps your seeds wet the whole time. And in case you didn't know, seeds really just need water. The nutrients in the soil don't start mattering until after they become seedlings and they start growing to like mid-level maturity. To get them to sprout, you can literally put seeds on a wet paper towel and it will work. All right. There were 2 Japanese maples in the front yard when I moved in. They have grown quite a bit. Yeah, I think the dogwood will get about a foot to 2 feet every year, and the lilac, I think twice that. So no, maybe the lilac was also a foot to 2 feet. I'd have to check my paperwork, but yeah, I think it's 1 to 2 feet per year when it starts growing, assuming I did everything correct and it actually grows and doesn't just die as a little sapling. So hopefully this doesn't leak like the last one did. Just gonna put some water in the bottom here. We'll worry about our watering later. There's enough moisture in these to keep them wet for a while. No major drips. There we go. All right. Now we get to start. Oh, this is perfectly laid out. Okay. So what we have here is we have 6 black and 4 green. I'm gonna split my squashes up so that my winter squash, my spaghetti squash, I'll have 4 of those. And I have 2 different types, I think I bought them 2 different years, of zucchini. So I'm gonna do 3 of this one and 3 of this one. So I will separate those out and they will be color coded. I'd like to say I did that on purpose, but that's just what I had left for containers when I laid them out. Heidi has tried gardening with crops, but it hasn't turned out well for her. Well, I'll tell you what, everything that I know about gardening, I learned on YouTube. Pretty much. I mean, the idea, using the solo cups to do the seed starter and having them go both the first 2 phases of their life in one container. My mother-in-law, my wife's mom, that's how she does them, and so I thought I'd give that a try. I have seen other people online talking about doing seed starters in larger pots instead of the little pods like I did the last 2 years. That way you have fewer times that you're transferring them and less shock for them. And I think that makes sense and will work out in the long run. So have any questions that I haven't gone over, I might be able to help, but I am certainly no expert. There are plenty of really good gardening channels on YouTube. That's where I got all of my information, just about. Plus a little bit of experience, because this is now, what, my 4th year gardening? I don't know, how long have I lived here? What year is this? What year did I move here? This will be my 3rd year gardening. Because we moved in the fall of 2021. So I built the garden, or built my boxes in the spring. So this will be my 3rd year? Something doesn't add up. I don't know. Whatever. I have a little bit of experience. Okay. So one more to go. I missed that one. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do the zucchinis first. Told her to figure out what she wants to grow and just do some research. If it isn't difficult, it isn't difficult. It just takes some dedication and consistency. That's very true. Alright. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. These seeds are now kind of old, so I will not be reusing these seeds for next year. They're at least 1 year old. One of them is 1 year old and one of them is 2 years old, so. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Cover them up with a little bit of the soil. Oh, not these ones. I didn't put anything in those ones yet. Let's hope I have enough of this winter squash. If not, I'll just do more zucchini. No big deal. Uh-oh, yeah, looks like I'm gonna do, damn, 1, 2, I'll do 1, 2. Alright, well, I'm gonna swap these guys around. 'Cause I am not going to go buy any more. We'll just do more zucchinis. So my color coding that I thought was so accidentally perfect now doesn't make any sense. That's okay, not a big deal. These two need to be swapped. Let's see. It's alright, this will work. I'll just mark these guys as summer squash, or as the winter squash, and the rest will just all be zucchinis. Slowly water it in. Fortunately, because we pre-mixed the majority of the seed starting medium, we don't have to add too much water. And they will stay moist for a while. The peat moss absorbs a ton of water. And again, let's hope that this does not leak. And we will set this tray over here under the light. All right, last tray. Plenty of this slop left. The other two things that are typically direct sow, but I figure, oh shit, see that one's broken, so I'm gonna need to put this one in the other tray. I will do that before I dump water in it, so that I don't have a fiasco like I had for the first one I did. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, so I'm going to be doing onions and leeks. Now, typically, onions and leeks are direct sow, but again, in zone 5B here in central Maine, we don't have that long of a growing season, And onions actually are one of the ones that you can plant in the fall and they will be fine as long as you plant them in the fall. Probably shouldn't be standing in the way of the camera. I don't know what's more entertaining, my back or these cups of dirt. One of these ones. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and move this out of the way, move that out of the way. Put down my other backup tray. Put this broken tray there. And hopefully that'll be all set and won't have any leaks. Well, I hope I have 5 leaks, but not any leaks in the tray. Always a funny joke. All right, we actually had a lot of use out of that bag. I was worried that it wasn't going to be enough dirt, but I think we are all set. All right, let's do, I don't really have a way to label these. These are all the same color. This is why we did the labeling thing in the first place. All right. We'll go weeks first. Oh, leeks are tiny ass seeds. Okay. Like little raisins. Raisin seeds. Like tiny little charcoal briquettes. Set those aside because if this doesn't take, I will try planting them. I'll try direct sowing them. Alright, onions. Same thing. Interesting. I wonder if all these types of vegetables have similar seeds. Alright, and again, I'm going to save the garlic. And what I'll do is I will put, see this says onion on it. Put onion on this side, and put leek on that side. Yep, this is gonna need a little bit more water. Be right back. All right. Okay, that should be good. That should do it for all of the vegetables. Move this guy over a little bit. Get nice even heat. All right, so we have one more thing to do. Like I mentioned before, I had a whole bunch of trees that I ordered from the Arbor Day Foundation, and I was only able to grow 2 of them because of the size of my yard and the amount of trees, bushes, and everything else that I already have. So I gave a bunch away. Well, one of the people that I'm giving a tree to isn't around and won't be available to pick up the tree for a couple weeks. So I will be planting the tree in a pot temporarily till they can take it home and transplant it in the ground. In order to ensure success, ooh, it might be a little too tall. In order to ensure success, I grabbed the largest of the baby trees. This is a spruce. It will grow into a Christmas tree eventually. And obviously it's pretty far along the way. I was supposed to soak these roots for like 3 hours, but I forgot about it. So I'm just gonna wash these roots off a little bit. I'm gonna change this water, and then I'm just gonna plant it. I've been soaking it for about an hour. But I think they'll be all right. All right, because this is such a large baby tree with quite an extensive root system already, I feel like it'll be pretty successful for the transplant. I could be wrong. I could have that completely backwards. Maybe the smallest one would have been best. But we will find out. Since I definitely know less about planting trees than I do about starting gardens. All right, those look pretty good. That's pretty healthy root system. Wow. All right, so back that up a little bit because this is actually taller than I was expecting. Ooh, I'm gonna have to get really down in there, aren't I? All right. Let me make more room in this pot. Get that really deep in there. All right. I'm gonna put a little bit of this slop in here, which should work really well because one of the most important things you need to do for a baby tree is keep it wet. Keep it moist. Fuck. All right, well. Want to make sure all the roots get covered, but at that same time, I don't want to get any of the regular part of the tree covered. Go ahead and rip this guy off. All the roots are in there. I think that's pretty good. So, there you have it. It's pretty saturated with water, but I'm just going to go ahead. No, you know what? I'm not going to use this water because that might be some of the reason that I was rinsing the roots off in the first place. Get that hydration gel out of there. I'm actually going to keep this nice and saturated with water because this tree needs it. So I think I'll just leave this guy like this. He should be fine. He's a little bit on the tall side, but he should be good to go. He should be fine right here, just hanging out. But yeah, there we go. We have a whole new set of seeds down to the right there that hopefully all pop up. And then we have all these guys that have already started. And hopefully in 4 weeks, everything will be ready to transport. I will maybe do another stream on the process of hardening off. That one's going to be a little bit more difficult because it involves taking the trays of seeds and bringing them outside so that they can get used to the unique wind and sun and all the changing of temperatures and all that stuff. You give them a few hours outside to get used to it. You bring them in for the night, bring them outside. You can also harden off using a greenhouse if you have one. I don't have a greenhouse, I have a basement. And so that process, you do a couple of weeks of the hardening off, and then they should be good to go to just plant directly outside. So I'll do the hardening off process in the middle of May, and then at the end of May, I will plant them all. And I'll also do all my direct sowing. I might be able to film some of that. So cucumbers, beans, peas, carrots, those will all be direct sow. And we will do periodic progress reports, updates on the seeds as we go. That is going to be it for today's stream. Just about 1 hour, almost 1 hour. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this short stream. A little bit of information. The previous VOD is available on YouTube if you want to see the first half of this. And this VOD will also be on YouTube shortly. For now, this is the end of the stream. Thank you very much for joining me. Sorry about the weird lighting. It's not the ideal setup for streaming. But there you have it. I am Magnus the Grouchy Gamer, but I'm not just grouchy at gaming. I'm also grouchy at other aspects of life, like gardening. All right, take care, everybody.